is going on, everybody? Mike and I, the Couch Warrior, back on a different day than usual on Thursday for an episode of the Bet Elevator. We've been off for 2 weeks. We had a bye week. For most people in the community, that meant a week free of fights. For this guy, it meant I just get to program and not have to deal with worrying about bets for fights. Mike, how'd you enjoy your bye week? Are you ready for this week? You have some spots you like? Talk to the people.
Yeah, man. I mean, the break week was dope. I kind of did it opposite. I took this week as the break and did all my work last week. It was nice. It was nice to get it out of the way, but now it's also because like I'm doing these other shows. I was with Eric yesterday. Today I'm with you, and I kind of have to refresh my memory with everything. But I am very hype. I think there's some decent spots. I think this is a low-key card. I feel like there should be some good ones. We got a little bit of drama now going on, so we got a little bit of everything for this card. So
we're gonna have to check hourly to see what Asgar's record is. See if he ever drops to like 2-10. Because I mean, this whole story has gotten ridiculous.
I'm waiting for it to go negative.
So we got 14 fights to get through. Also, programming note as usual, 8:15 on the MMA Engine probability with Brady and Wheezy. So trying to open your content day with some crazy wacky bets. But Mike, let's dig in. Aaron Blanche, I'm going on the order of Tapology, by the way. Obviously, card subject to change, order subject to change. But Aaron Blanchfield and J.J. Aldrich, I will start this one. It's tricky for me because, I'm a Blanchfield truther. I think she's a future champion. I think her potential is crazy, but obviously the money line is unbettable, and I don't really see a finish here. So for me, I had one of two options. Either you go Blanchfield by decision at -165, or you play the Aldrich side. Now, -165 isn't some kind of crazy wild bet here, but I don't know. I'll let you make the case for Aldrich maybe, or a round prop, because I can't seem to get past this -165, even though I think Aldrich is better on the feet. So I do think she has a path to victory.
Yeah, so first off, my Wi-Fi is kind of bugging out, and you were breaking up a little bit. So if I'm like breaking up or anything, just let me know.
Right.
But yeah, for this one, I agree. It's way too wide. I did look for a way to bet JJ. I did want to.
And he's broken up. Hello? I think we lost Mike for a second here. Okay. Mike, we lost you for a bit. Hello?
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
We heard none of it.
You heard nothing. Okay. So,
nope.
Like I was saying, do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as I was saying, I think that Blanchfield is going to get this done. I feel like if she was able to do what she did to Maverick, I feel like she's going to be able to do it here. Not to do any MMA math, but I do think that Maverick would beat JJ if they fought. And she just nullified her. She literally just gave her no option but to lose. So I think it's going to be similar here. I think it's relatively unplayable. I parlayed her early, but something I did play was Blanchfield round 3, my classic. I did +12. I got it for +1200, just a 0.1 unit. Look, she is relentless. She's got that pressure. And if she's going to be on top for 3 rounds, you got to think that something's going to open up at some point. She's got a good sub game. She can get a KO too. I'm not thinking a KO. I'm thinking more so a TKO from top. But I feel like in round 3, it wouldn't be impossible. Like a person can only take so much abuse, and 3 rounds of just getting grappled, I think that's a possibility.
Daz, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I mean, you know how I like these round 3 props too. So we're gonna go with that. Look, anything over -165. I don't want to be a juice boy for any of these fights, but we go Blanchfield round 3 at +1200 is the pick on the prop show. Let's move it along. You're gonna lead this one off. We have Andreas Michailidis against Renat Fakhretdinov. Fakhretdinov -275 currently. The under is juiced under 2.5, -150 to -156 on, is that FanDuel? Wow. FanDuel for once coming in with the worst number there. But Mike, I'll let you start this one off. What side are you on? What prop are you looking at?
Yeah, so I mean, this one's rough because I came in here wanting to be all over Fakhretdinov, and that is the side I'm on. I am on Fakhretdinov. I just feel like this is going to be way closer than the line's saying. I feel like Fakhretdinov hasn't really faced anybody that good yet. You look at his record, and it's definitely lacking. You see the two UFC vets on there, like Eric Spicely. Like I don't really know how much you can take from that. So look, I do think he'll get his takedowns. I do think that Michailidis does tend to slow down. On the feet, I think that Fakhretdinov is going to be at a pretty big disadvantage. So I think he's going to be pretty reliant on his ground game. So because of that, I did play his submission. I got it at plus 600. I played it just for 0.15 unit. He's got 7 sub wins. Michailidis hasn't ever been submitted, but it's the first time for everything. If he's getting taken down, controlled, I think a sub is live, and I like plus 600 on it.
All right. Well, this one I can top. So this is more of a going with Michailidis' history. Now, I like Fakhretdinov round 2. Michailidis typically comes out pretty strong in the first round. Even against Pereira, he's pretty strong. But if you look at his history, I mean, out of his 5 losses, he's, lost to Pereira in the second round. Lost to Bukowskis in that really weird, he fell out of the cage, but that was to start the second round. Losing the third round to Vladimir Munoz, and then second round to Jason Butcher, who, what a great name that is. He typically comes out strong. I forget who said it on Twitter today. It might have been, I forget what, but they said something like, Michailidis has never lost a round in the UFC unless he's been finished. And it's like a really interesting that he has been winning these rounds. But the problem is I don't like his cardio, and I don't really like the move down in weight class. I don't really understand that he's like, it doesn't seem to make sense for why he's doing.
Sorry, we're seeing that twice this card, right? It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, some people don't even know. I forget what fight it is. It's the Stolze fight. People we don't know what weight class this is. So I'm gonna fade. I'm just gonna go with how Michailidis typically loses, and I'm gonna take Fakhretdinov round 2. This is not even bigger than yours. I thought it was. Huh. I thought BetMGM had this higher. So you have the sub for plus 600?
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was going to beat you on that one, but I guess not. At least I'm glad I got to explain why I was going to take it. But yeah, I could see the ground game being implemented here, and I know Michailidis tires, so let's go with it, man. Submission for plus 600.
Let's go.
Am I going to get any today? I have a feeling it might be one. I have a feeling it might be one of those days. But
let's see.
I'm leading off the next one. The everybody's internet darling, Jeff Molina against Zalga Zhumagulov. Yeah, so if I just look at this in a vacuum, I like what I see from Molina. He's exciting. What I don't like here is I'm not so sure this is a good stylistic matchup for him. I think Zhumagulov's got the experience. I think he can neutralize Molina and make it really ugly. And I don't see how Zhumagulov gets a finish. So if I'm going to take this fight anyway, because I'm debating not betting it at all. Like, it's almost like if I bet against Molina, I might lose like everybody that follows me on Twitter for going against the internet. But this Zhumagulov plus 300, I like for decision. I feel like that's basically his only way to win. I don't see him getting a finish here. I know he's coming off a finish of, was it Rivera? I think.
Well, that was his fight before he got finished, I believe.
Right. Before the Manel Kopp fight. I mean, but Jerome Rivera is, I don't know how much I can read into that in terms of his finishing ability. Kopp, look, man, if he catches you, he catches you. Like I don't know what to say about that. And he caught him, but like, I don't know that Molina has the pure power on the feet. I think Molina is more of a high energy, frenetic pace guy, like to wear you out. I don't know if he can wear out Zhumagulov here. So I'm going to start with Zhumagulov decision plus 300. I'm not going to lie. I don't love it, but if the money line is plus 155 and his decision is plus 300, I mean, when I think it's the same winning condition, basically, I'm going to go with it. Can you top it?
Yeah, I think I can. So I am on the other side. I'm on Molina, and look, this is what I did come into this thinking maybe I'd take the dog, but first of all, Zalgas hasn't shown us much in terms of top control. He's had tough opponents. I'll give him that. You can't downplay that. Paiva, Albazi, Kopp, Rivera's the only outlier, whatever there.
And he's a bum. And Rivera's a bum. Let's get that out of the way.
Here's the thing. So he's a bum, but who was winning on the feet in that fight? Zalgas or Rivera? It was Rivera, in my opinion. Okay. I thought he was winning that fight on the feet. So in my opinion, if Rivera can do that, I think Molina can do it much better. I think Molina's actually good on the feet. I think that Molina, while his takedown defense is definitely lacking, and we've seen that, I think that he does pop back up. He gets up quick. I think he's in the right camp for somebody with maybe a grappling deficiency over at Glory MMA. And I see this going deep, and I think it's going to be an absolute war, knowing both of their styles. Molina's always in wars, literally always. And Zalgas also always brings it. You watch his fight with Kopp, he brought it to Kopp. So I do expect this to be a war. And because of that, I don't hate Molina by KO or TKO at plus 460 on FanDuel. I feel like if you're on the Molina side, that's worth a sprinkle because sure, he'll probably win a decision, but you're getting plus 460 for something that he does well and something that has happened to Zalgas.
Even in his last fight. So,
yeah.
In fact, it will be, I like to talk about how I want my fighters to have at least 6 months recovery time. This fight will occur 6 months to the day he got knocked out by Kopp.
Wow.
So, well, at least if I take Molina and I lose my money, the internet can't hate me for being on the Molina side. So there's no other Zalgas prop I would ever take here. I mean, it's either decision or he's not getting a finish here. So Jeff Molina KO plus 460. Can't say I hate it. So, well, you've got 3 so far. So I'm going to have to just come up with some nonsense prop here. And
is there a yam bag special this week?
Yes, there is one.
So you're gonna win that one.
Maybe, probably. But let's move on to the 4th fight. Tony Gravely against Johnny Munoz Jr. I will let you start this one. This is it's your turn. Shouldn't say it like that, but Munoz Jr. really close line. And this is one of these MMA Twitter is divided fights. It looks like people that are on Munoz seem to think he's sub or bust, which I get it. And with Gravely, they think he's going to be the better guy on the feet, and that they're worried about him. You know, he could just control his way to a decision. I see people saying that, but what do you got for this one? And let's see if Uncle Lou can get one on the board.
So yeah, I mean, let me take a quick peek. Yeah, I've played this a few ways actually. So I feel like it hasn't been so much of a split on Twitter, and more so it seems like everyone is on Munoz Jr., at least from what I'm seeing. I'm seeing so much love for the guy. The line has moved. I got Gravely. I thought I was getting a steal at minus 155, and now he's like minus 132, and I feel like an idiot. So I feel like a lot of people have been on Jr., and I personally don't get it. I hear a lot about his sub game, but who's he submitted? Like realistically, who has he submitted who's any good? And like you look at his record, there is nobody. He has one sub in the UFC. It's Jamie Simmons. And like, look, Jamie Simmons got brought in to get knocked out by Giga because Giga didn't have a KO yet. And then he got fed to Munoz Jr. And now is he even in the UFC? I'm not sure. But
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. He was like, no disrespect, but he wasn't really UFC caliber. Then you look at Gravely, and I hear a lot of talk about him getting submitted and whatnot, but by who, right? Brett Johns. It's Brett Johns. Like, the guy's legit. Patchy Mix, very legit. Manny Bermudez, also a good fighter. Ricky Bandejas, that's already probably the less good one on the record. And Pat Sabatini. Like, literally almost every single one of those guys is legit. So I feel like to say he's going to get subbed because that's happened to him, I think it's a bit of a stretch. I have a few bets on him, so I'll give you a chance to stay alive here. So I'll start with just Gravely money line. You can get him at minus 132. I got it minus 155, so I got it like that.
So, Clint moved this line, because Clint put the pick out Sunday night. He put it out before his show, and I believe this was the first pick he made official for his show. So Here's my problem with Gravely. And this is not that I'm like overly impressed with Munoz. I do like the fact that Tapology or that Best Fight Odds just lists all his props as junior. So like, I'd love it if he fought another guy with that surname, just so we were totally confused, because they don't seem to ever fix their spelling. It's still Durko to Duraver or whatever. Like, they just don't care. So the problem I have with Gravely is, like, if you want to look at this like Simon Oliveira fight, I believe was on short notice too. Oliveira just was, jumping for guillotines and like, I don't know. He was a guy that didn't seem to, like, he was just okay being on his back. And that's what I think people assume is going to happen here at Munoz Jr. He's going to settle for just being on his back and hunting for subs. Now, now if that's what happens, I think we're going to get the exact same situation we got last time, where Gravely just controls him. And I think he wins a decision. And I know, like, what's crazy to me that this under 2.5 is juiced. I believe it was like minus, or fight doesn't go under 2.5 is like minus 138, which isn't too bad. But I kind of see Gravely just, control, some punches, some, like, just staying out of trouble. And I think this Gravely plus 250 decision prop is where I'm at. I mean, I can't say I have a ton of confidence in it. I mean, I get that, like, this whole, and not only that, but like, it's not like Munoz has never been stopped. So for the most part, Gravely's not some like crazy power puncher. Like, he's got finish potential, but he's not some crazy, like, insane, like, one-shot power guy. So could Gravely just volume him up for 3 rounds? Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to take him by decision at plus 250.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. In terms of playing a prop on Gravely, I will top you actually, because I'm going with the KO at +2. I played it at plus 275. You can get a plus 290 on FanDuel. You were saying he doesn't carry crazy power, and yeah, it's not like, he's no Nagano, that's for sure. But I would say for his stature, for his weight class, he carries some serious power. I mean, he put Nate Maness on his butt towards the end of the first round, and I don't think that's an easy thing to do. So I also don't think that Munoz is that great on the feet. I think that Munoz, if he does have a shot, it's going to be somewhere on the ground. And all right, so like, let's play this out, right? Gravely's getting his takedowns. Let's say Munoz is active off his back. He's constantly getting up. So then we're looking at mostly a striking match. And if you give me that for 3 rounds, I kind of do favor Gravely getting a KO at some point. So at plus 290, I do like that. Do you have anything higher?
Unless I want to go on the Munoz side, no. And like I said, the only reason I wouldn't want to take that on my end is this. I don't like taking a guy that's never been finished to get KO'd. I mean, look, man, obviously this is a big step up in competition for Munoz, and I understand that. Well, unless we're going to do this MMA math thing with, like, Nate Maness, which I don't want to do, but I don't know, man. I don't think I can go any higher. I mean, I know there's a lot of love for the Munoz submission. Honestly, my first look at this fight was Munoz round 2 sub, because it seems like Gravely is smart for 5 minutes and he's an idiot. But I really feel like it's really just his fight to lose. I mean, I don't know. Like, Munoz is the only threat he is off his back with a sub, and I feel like if just Gravely can have some fight IQ and stay out of that, I don't know. I'm leaning decision, but I'm gonna give it to you, man. I can't go any higher than plus 290 on this one.
So I'll top myself real quick. After I sat here and I demolished Munoz Jr. for his submissions not being that great, I am playing his round 3 sub prop. I'm playing it on FanDuel for plus 1,600. It's one of my hedge spots. If you ever watched me, that's kind of what I do. If I find a spot like this, I have 3 units on Gravely. So this is my little hedge. I think that if he is going to win, I think it's going to be a sub. And I think that if a sub happens, it's most likely going to be late, right? Gravely does get very sloppy with his takedowns towards the end of the fight. And that's going to give Munoz Jr. his best shot. So that plus 1,600, I don't hate it at all. 0.1 unit. Let's ride. I'm a little hedge.
All right, man. We're moving on. By the way, we got 15 people live right now. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day. Stop by the Bet Elevator. Moving on to fight number 5, Benoit Saint Denis, who is probably still nursing some bruises from his fight against Lesky dos Santos. Against Nicholas Stolze, I'll lead off on this one. I mean, I hate this fight altogether. I don't know. I don't understand the line. I don't get like why Saint Denis is the favorite. At the same time, Stolze has shown me really nothing. I look at this as like, I mean, obviously, like there's very different situations, behind it, but this is no different to me than why the line was the way it was for Matinho and Guido Canetti, in that Matinho was the favorite because he showed he could take a lot of punishment. And I just didn't understand it. So I'm probably not betting this fight, no matter what the hell you say. But like, just because of that, I lean the dog, I guess. But and Saint Denis took, I mean, another thing is Saint Denis did take a tremendous, and I mean like a life-altering amount of damage. So just because he didn't get knocked out, I mean, he look, any ref calls that a knockout. So let's not say he didn't get knocked out. Like, he probably prefers that he got knocked out, like to lengthen his career. But I'm gonna play Stolze. I have no confidence in this play, and I hope you top me.
I mean, no, I'm with you on.
Sorry, Mike, and shout out to Tommy L here for he's like, what do you think Canetti? What do you think about Canetti round one? And I'm like, kind of intriguing. And then it went from kind of intriguing to, oh, it's 10-1. Like, let's hit it. And then that started off a very nice day. I believe that was the Cody Brundage card too. So I had like a 5-fight streak of props, and then the bottom fell out after that. But it was a nice 5-fight run while I had it. But shout out to Tom L for even bringing that to my attention when we were talking to me. Go ahead, man. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So yeah, I'm on the same side. Like, you took the words out of my mouth. Like, it's the Moutinho effect. We watched this guy take a beating from someone who's really good, and we're like, oh, so he's got to be able to beat somebody who's less good than ZDS. And I just feel like that's not the case. And you watch that fight, like, all right, if that got stopped in round 2, would we have the same line? I feel like we probably wouldn't have the same line. So because of that, like, I do like Stolze. He's the bigger guy. I think on the feet, he's the better guy. He's the less green guy all around. Saint Denis, he's going to be pretty dependent on that takedown. And look, Stolze debuted against Ramazan Emeev on short notice. He defended 8 of 12 takedowns over 15 minutes, got controlled for only 6 minutes by Emeev, again, on short notice. So, like, that leads me to believe that Saint Denis not going to have that same success. I don't rate him as good as Emeev on the wrestling. So I'm with you on the money line. As for beating you, I don't really know. I was like looking at the sub at plus 700, but like Stolze's got 4 sub wins and none of them are a front choke, which is what I would have wanted to see here, like maybe like a guillotine or a Darce. So I'm probably going to hold off there and just play that money line with you.
All right, so we suck for this one. We're just taking the and there's nothing wrong with that for a spot like this. I mean, it's a guy who took a hellacious beating against a guy who just got knocked out in his last fight by it was his last fight, right?
Yeah, against
Okay.
Gooden.
Right. Okay. I mean, it was a while ago. Like, I mean, I believe it was about 6. It was a year ago, almost a year ago. Wow. July 31st of last year. Okay. So, I mean, obviously that's not the greatest look. So, yeah, it's kind of weird matchmaking, but I guess we're both on the Stolze side at plus 135. And
who do you think the move down to 155 favors more here? Because Saint Denis is a smaller guy, so you think he'll handle it better?
Maybe it's hard to say. I mean, like, because he doesn't have a lot of experience either. I think with Stolze, he has the UFC experience at a certain weight class, so he's felt the power of a certain weight class. Maybe that's a guess, but I mean, this is just weird. It's such a, I don't know, man. For me, this fight is just strange matchmaking. They obviously either want to build Saint Denis up as like a super tough guy that just came, too much too soon, or they want to say like Stolze, like new start, new weight class. But I don't know, man. It's like a filler fight, don't you think? Like,
I think that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're moving on to fight number 6. This is you, Damon Jackson, against who I have to say has arguably, as we talked on, I talked with Wheezy, got to be a top 5 haircut all time in the UFC, and that's Daniel Argueta. The guy is like Samson, beautiful locks. He's coming in on short notice. This is a really tough spot against Damon Jackson. Biggest favorite on the card, just slightly more than Blanchfield. What do you got for this one? If you're on the Argueta side, I'd be shocked, but like, here we go.
Nah, I'm not on the Argueta side. Once I saw this matchup, I was like, damn, that sucks for Argueta. But to be boring, I'm on Jackson by sub, -110. Look, the guy's -700 now, and you're still giving me his main win condition at -110. Like, that's kind of a joke, right? Like, he's got what is it, 14 sub wins or 16 out of 20 wins? I'm missing the exact 14 of 20 wins by sub. Like, and then you're going to give it to me at -110. I have to take that. And then, do you have anything better? Because I want to pitch something crazy.
Well, pitch something crazy, and then I'll tell you. And by the way, to talk about the wins that Jackson has that weren't by sub, like that Rosa fight, which was weird because Rosa busted up in the third. But I mean, Jackson could have, like, the subs were there. Like, this wasn't a boring fight where he was just getting positioned. I mean, he was constantly hunting subs. Rosa had, like, give Rosa a lot of credit for that fight. Like, he hung really tough in that fight against Jackson, but 9 times out of 10, he's getting tapped. So, you know, just to pad his reg. But go ahead. Let me hear the crazy take before I give you mine.
Okay, so I was going through the odds before the show, and I was just like, I like to look for things that, you know, like, if there's an unlikely outcome, it doesn't mean it can't happen. And if you're going to give me like really crazy odds for it, it's going to be hard for me not to play it. So I was looking around, and then I go to round 3 props like I always do, because I think Jackson's going to be putting on the pressure here, right? He's going to be relentless. He's going to be trying to finish Argueta. Like you said against Rosa, he wasn't just laying on him. He was trying to get that finish. In round 3, that was nuts. He got busted like a watermelon with that elbow.
And he wasn't hurt. He didn't look hurt. He just got
he kept fighting. He kept fighting. So I was looking at, so there's no value on Jackson in round 3 by sub for +900. Like, I feel like if you're going to go for like a round 3 method, like you want better. So I was looking at Jackson round 3 KO. It's +4,600. He's never KO. He's KO'd 2 people, and both of those are a while ago. I'm not expecting a KO on the feet, but hear me out. If he's being relentless, if he's implementing that grappling, Argueta, he is a wrestler, and wrestlers do tend to be difficult to submit sometimes. If he's just grappling him the whole time, is it really that impossible for him to get a TKO? Is it really? Like, TKO is essentially
it's not Jackson's
and letting it rain.
I mean, it's not Jackson's MO, but I mean, I see what you're saying in terms of like trying to sub a wrestler. Well, I'm not top at +4,600. I mean,
I'm not playing that just yet, though. So let's hear what you have.
I like the sub line round 2, not round 3. I like at +600. I know it's not awesome, but I just think I can't have a lot of confidence in Argueta's cardio for this fight. And like, and if I question his cardio going into it just because of the short notice of it, how bad's he going to be starting the second round when Jackson's just tossing him around and toss? I mean, even if the wrestling's even the first round, even if Argueta's really competitive, which I think people are sleeping on him, I don't think he's bad. You know, Jackson's not some like top 10 guy. I mean, look, Jackson's solid, and like he's won me a lot of money, so I am not bashing him at all. But you know, even if they have even exchanges in the first round, I don't know that Argueta is going to have anything like as the fight goes on. And the round 3 is so easy. But last time Jackson went out, he won in the second round. I kind of like that, like, because a lot of times you get that sub and you're like, I'm not going to change what works. So it could be a round of gassing him and then a round of tapping him. So I'm playing the round 2 sub at 600. I know it's not like hugely sexy, but I like it a lot. Like,
I think it's more likely than mine. So,
all right. So I am on the board with a play, Jackson round 2 sub, and we're going to move on to fight number 7, which is, I totally forgot. I've been looking at like data all week. Okay, here's another. That's right. They moved the Osbourne fight. Alex De Silva against Joe Solecki. I'll start with this one, and I don't have a ton of confidence in Joe Solecki after his last fight. I feel like the game plan was bad, but it's really hard for me to get off the Solecki submission prop +300. I know this seems like a square play. I think he has a pronounced wrestling advantage. I don't know that I love De Silva's cardio either, so that neck could be out there. It's hard with me with Solecki with it's just hard for me because when you see a fighter lose a fight with horrible fight IQ in a third round, it either means the guy's gas tank was awful, or it's just a brain fart, and neither one is conducive to me having confidence in the guy's next fight. But I do think Selecki has like a huge advantage here on the ground, so I'm going to take him sub plus 300. I don't love it. What do you got?
So I'm actually I'm on the De Silva side, so I'm not going to be able to top you, I don't think, with your plus what was it, 300 you said?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like on the feet, Silva's better without a doubt. In my opinion, I think he's better, and I think the grappling's going to be close. I'm not positive that Selecki's going to be that much better. I think in terms of BJJ, like just straight, yeah, Selecki's probably got the advantage here. He's very clean, but I don't know if he's going to sub Silva. Like Silva's also very legit at BJJ. You watch his ground game; it's really good. Against Yakovlev, yeah, he did get subbed with a guillotine by Yakovlev, which is a terrible look. And if he can do it, Selecki can too. So I get it. But I do like Silva. I snagged him at plus 200 originally, which I thought was really good. And then I took him again at plus 150. But you beat me here.
Do you like, well, here's the question for you. Because like I'm not like 1,000,000% with Selecki here. It's just the first thing it's like the thing that makes sense to me in terms of a prop. But what do you think of De Silva's cardio? Like how do you rate his cardio?
So when you mentioned that, I actually pulled up the stats real quick because I was curious because I watched the Riddell fight, but I don't remember round 3 so well. If you look at it, round 3 is actually when he got the most of his strikes. 23 strikes in round 3, 18 in round 2, and 13 in round 1. So, I mean, that's got to suggest to me that his cardio is at least pretty good at nowadays. Brad Riddell, like, he's a tough customer, and I thought that fight was pretty close. It was a good fight.
That was a great fight.
So
it's crazy. He has 24 fights and he's 26. Like, that's crazy. He's another one of these, like, it's crazy to me.
I feel like he's a legit prospect. I feel like we're going to see him for a while. I feel like maybe we'll see like a Charles Oliveira-esque arc with him. He's super young still. He's got a lot ahead of him. But, yeah, I do like him here. I think he should be able to nullify that sub game. Like, because like that's kind of what Gordon did, right? He nullified the grappling, and then what did Selecki really have left? Not much. On the feet, not much. So I do like, and De Silva was winning some exchanges with Brad Riddell on the feet, which is like not an easy thing. We're talking about a Tiger Muay Thai striking coach, But yeah, so I'm on the Silva side.
Do you and you don't see a potential for a finish, is what you're saying? Because if you do, I'll switch it right now. Like I told you as soon as I made this lucky, I don't like it. Like I don't love it at all. It's just, and I wonder if I'm just getting like it could be one of these picks that I lean toward because I have evidence that he could do it like 2 years ago. Like the pick wasn't against De Silva more than it was like, well, Selecki's a ground wizard. Like also him tapping out Cerrone in a grappling match, I do not include in terms of him having. I don't know what the hell Cerrone's doing in these grappling matches, to be honest with you. Like. It's out of his goddamn mind. He's got to conserve. Us old people need to conserve all the energy that we have. So do you see any finish potential at all? I mean, obviously there's some, but like, can you see the finish like more often than not here?
Yeah. I was thinking about this a lot before the show. I highlighted both De Silva's sub and his KO. So his sub line is at plus 1,300 if you look at it. He's got 13 subs. Oh my God. He's got 6 subs on his record, but I don't know. I feel like then I'm just trying to push it because Selecki, he is really talented on the ground. So like I don't want to push that. And then the KO's at plus 460. He's got 7 wins by KO. Selecki's been KO'd once by Nicholas Mata, who we saw not too long ago against Jim Miller. I think pretty highly of Mota. So like I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I'm just not going to push it because I'm already on the dog side with pretty good plus money. I feel like it probably goes to decision, but we're also talking about 2 guys who are very good finishers. Like they can get finishes. So who knows, honestly.
Well, all right. So Selecki sub is the official prop, but I mean, I don't really like it. I didn't. That's the one I did not want to win. Was this one? But I may, depending on how I like analyze everything, I may look a little deeper into the Silva side. In terms of like, just maybe I missed something in tape that like, I don't know, man. Selecki is just, I hate it. I finally get one I like and I hate it. But let's move on. I believe this is you. 8th fight, yes. Ode Osbourne against Rook Adashev. I will say that when we went into our bye week for UFC, I saw a ton of people hammering huge bets on Osbourne like a week and a half ago. And it was crazy to me that this was the one fight that seemed not everybody, but at least 4 or 5 sizable bets, like 4 or 5 unit bets that I saw go on Osbourne. He's currently minus 180. You're seeing all these bets. I mean, I know that's the initial spike, but he has gone from about 150 something to minus 190. It has moved this week. You're up first. I know that you're on the Ode Osbourne side for the fight. So I'm curious to see how you think this goes. I think you alluded to it before we got on the air.
Yeah, so this one's heartbreaking for me because I'm Brooklyn born and raised. Adashev's out from Brooklyn, and I remember when he was making his debut, he was super green. No one understood why in the world he was even getting a UFC shot. He was like 3-1, I think. And I was so hyped for him to come in. I thought Tyson Nam was an okay spot for him. And then I remember when he weighed in with his beer belly off the couch, I was like dying of laughter. I was like, all right, my bet is gone. And then he gets finished. And since then, I've been trying to back him. I did back him in his last fight when he finally got his dub. I just feel like the size is an issue for him. I feel like the size is an issue for him here. And I feel like it's going to be throughout his career. He's unfortunately a little bit small. He showed in the Sumaderji fight that he can close the distance. He's pretty explosive. But in my opinion, we're just dealing with somebody who's super green still. And Osbourne's not that green. He's been in the UFC for a minute. He is mostly a finisher, but he just got taken 3 rounds by CJ Vergara. Not some world killer, but a tough guy. And I just feel like Ode should win this. I do have a money line, but for the sake of the show, I do have a much better line. I got him by sub plus 600. I don't have the exact number of how many submissions he has. I want to say it's like 4 or 5, but that's like completely off the top of my head. And I know Adashev only has a 1 sub loss. All right, I pulled it up real quick. 1, 2, 3.
I'm counting
4.
It's funny.
I'm amazing. 4. So Ode's got 4 sub wins. It's not like something that he does often. Obviously, there's a reason we're getting it for what? Plus 600. I got it. No, I got it at plus 500. It's plus 6 now. And look, it's just one of those things where if Ode's smart, if his camp is smart, and they're like, this is what you have to do, it's a clear path to me. It's extremely possible that Ode just refuses to do that and just stands on the feet. That's why I've got him money line also. But I think the sub at plus 600 is a good spot.
Okay. So there's 2 things going for me. There's 3 things going against Ode Osbourne for me here. Number 1, it's another one of these internet consensus picks. So like immediately kind of hate that stuff. Number 2, Ode Osbourne, even though we've seen people break this pattern, yes, he is among the win-loss people. Some people just can't get 2 in a row. Who knows? And then you want to talk about his sub. Well, his sub was on the Contender Series. So been a couple of years since he had a sub. I did not like how he looked in the 3rd round against Vergara at all. I did not like he looked like dead on his feet, and he hung on and he hung on and he hung on to win. Adashev in the 3rd round against Benoit. Let me just make sure I have the right. I'm confusing. There's a lot of guys with V's against Ryan Benoit. Was landing it. I thought he looked great in the 3rd round. Was landing at will. He went away from like the leg kicks, but I thought Adashev looked good. So I'm taking a stab on Adashev round 3 KO plus 2,700. If you top it, I'm gonna smack you. I got to win 1.
No, and honestly, I want you to hit that. That would be epic. I still.
And I'm a native New Yorker. I'm a native New Yorker. Like, so of course I'm rooting for him.
I wish him the best. I feel like Osbourne's probably got it here. In terms of what you were saying with the cardio, I definitely agree. I just feel like Vergara's also somebody who brings it on you, like Vergara's a type to tire somebody out over 3 rounds. And I just feel like Vergara's a bit more physical than Adashev is. So it might be not as easy for him to implement the same kind of game plan, but I definitely see it.
Right. And Plays and Fades, who I assume is Gordo. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure is Gordo. He makes a good point here that Vergara's pace, but like, it's not like Vergara. I didn't think Vergara is the reason that Ode Osbourne tired out last fight. It was a physically grueling. And if Adashev just wants to, like, we're assuming that Osbourne is going to go takedown heavy. We agree that he should go takedown heavy. But if he doesn't have any success, or, we'll see. I think this is a live betting spot too. If and only if you see Osbourne start to fade in the second round. I mean, again, just because it happened last fight doesn't mean it'll happen this fight. But if Osbourne does show signs of slowing down in the second, he gets hit a lot too. So if Adashev's having some success, it's an interesting live bet spot, especially if Osbourne's down, if Osbourne's up 2-0, but he looks like shit. I'm curious to know what that round 3 Adashev line is going to be. You might get 20. You might get 15-1. So we shall see. But yeah, I really do like this, and I see a lot of I'm debating the under. Yeah, fight doesn't go is a reasonable number too. If you want to play a time prop here, I think they're all really reasonable numbers. I mean, it is only Adashev's 8th fight too, so like there's a lot of, much like a lot of fights in this card, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. So speaking of weird, oh brother, man, Felice Harrigan, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I mean, do you want me just to end this right now?
Yeah.
End it?
Yeah.
So typically speaking, so at first I was like, this is a perfect fight to end in a split decision spot, because the fight doesn't make any goddamn sense. I mean, it's probably like minus 29 million to go to a decision. This is just a bizarre fight. Why it's on the main card, well, I mean, I can understand why it's on the main card. That's probably on the Kowalkiewicz end, but so Weezy has threatened to call the orderlies on anybody who bets this fight. See, there Weezy is ready. So the only way for me to bet this fight is for no bags to be yammed. I'm going to take the point deduction at 20-1 just to have something weird on it, because A, it's a weird fight to begin with. B, it's going 15 minutes. If this fight finishes, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, but I'd say I'd shave my head, but like it's gonna take me like 5 minutes to shave my head because I have no hair. So like I can't even offer that as really like an incentive here. I will shave Weezy's head if this fight finishes. That's the promise I can make.
Don't you dare touch Weezy's hair.
I would never. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous of Weezy's hair. I would never touch it. So I'm going with the point deduction at 20-1. I can't justify it. And now I'm glad Papa Chuck's here too. So we talked about this Tuesday on Weezy's stream. He actually, I don't believe he had this as 27-27, Papa Chuck. If I'm right, he had this scored as a 30-30 draw where no punches are landed and it's just 10-10s. Because there's nothing to distinguish who won the round. I mean, he might have said 27-27, so maybe I'm wrong here, but I'm just going to play the Yambag prop for like $3, $5, some bullshit, just to have something on it, but I don't know how you pick a side here. Like, you're not topping this, are you? Unless you were able to bet like a specific fighter by Yambag, or the draw. Do you want to go with the draw and top me?
Nah, I feel like, look, I like your look, because I think that if you're gonna tackle this fight in any way, chaos, only chaos. Both of them big losing streaks. Both of them doesn't make any sense at all. This fight doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna bet some kind of plus money chaos. Yambag special. I was checking out Karolina by KO at plus 900. Just ridiculous things. That's the only thing I would touch this with, but I'm not going to touch it.
Just so you guys know, if you are looking for the point deduction bet, if anybody here actually does follow these bets, and I am the Yambag whisperer, so that is the one bet I can hit you, every couple of months. There's only 2 sites I know that offer it. If you guys know another site, like let me know. The only 2 sites I know that offer it are DraftKings and Betway are the only 2 that I've ever seen it on. But if anybody has it, it's nothing wrong with just. I debated doing a Yambag bet for I think it was the Pereira fight like a couple of weeks ago on Betway, but I didn't want my first bet on that site to be a point deduction, because like Lord knows I deposit like $25 just to bet that and I hit it. They're nuking that account. They're like, fuck is this guy? Like, we're nuking this account like immediately. So, all right, I'm glad we didn't spend a lot of time in there. But I mean, if that fight wasn't crazy enough, What the hell is going on? Alonzo Menafield, who, whatever. You know what? I don't care about Menafield for the sake of this. I literally, this is not about him. This is about the bigger picture. Against Askar Mozarov, who I believe is he 19-12 now? He's 19-12 according to Tapology. I just want you guys to know, if you haven't been, and I think everybody in the stream pretty much knows, but just to capture this for posterity on the video, he was 25-7 on Tapology on Monday. Then he was 21-11. Now he's 19-12. Some of his comments are talking about, well, I had a different name in China, and and then he's saying that he threw fights early in his career because he was young and he needed money, and now we're not sure if the neck tattoos are the same. I mean, Dana White has got to be I got to think this guy, anything short of a 30-second KO win, will never fight in the UFC again. Because he's going to be like, what the fuck is this? He's calling himself the Ukrainian McGregor. And he said, and yes, other people call me that. I would like to know what other people call him, the Ukrainian McGregor. So,
did you see his face? It's literally not the same face that's in the internet that says Oscar Mozarov.
If you told me that a guy's going to walk out on Saturday and he ends up being 5'3" and 100 pounds, I'd be like, and yet now Menafield, you see the line has gone way up. Now Menafield opened it. What was it? It might have been minus 150. I forget what he opened up at. Minus 130. And he has slowly, with every lie that has come out. I mean, and Wheezy did mention all the Wangs that allegedly Mozarov has beat. I mean, just this to me is if when there was a wrestling, when you'd watch wrestling as a kid, you had to do the math that would come out, and he's from parts unknown, weight unknown, it's wins unknown, losses unknown. Can we bet if his record will still be 19-12? Because people are pouring over it right now, being well, do we know if it's right? So, and still Menafield, not a huge favorite. So what I want to pick for this, but I'm going to let you lead off. And if you just want to take that off the bat, let's roll with it.
So I've been on Menafield way before all this drama, honestly. No flex, but I got him at minus 135. Also, I just want to say, I don't want to hear any Hannah Cipher slander, okay? She's great, but we'll skip over that right now. But yeah, I do think that Menafield should run away with this, man. But yeah, so I'm on the sub here. I think I told you already, right? I'm on the sub. I got it at plus 700. It's been bet down all the way to plus 550. But Mozarov's been subbed 8 times by absolute nobodies. He's a mess. He's a mess. He's a good hammer, a glass nail. So I don't know. I like the plus money there. I already have a decent bet on Menafield money line, so just a sprinkle on that sub at plus 700. I don't hate it at all.
Well, that's crazy you got it that, but you know what I'm taking for this. And I'm going with the round. I'm taking the round 1 submission for Menafield at plus 900 on FanDuel.
Nice.
I told Weezy that earlier today, we were talking in our meeting, and he's like, that can't be right. Because the first round prop is but I mean, the one thing I have seen, Mozarov has tapped 2 strikes. He has tapped 2 strikes. So and Menafield, it was Charant he subbed. I mean, Charant, as much as I want to say that Fabio Charant is not UFC caliber, now I want to know, could Fabio Charant beat Mozarov?
Fight to make after this.
Maybe that's the fight to make. I don't know. Is it possible? Can Hunsucker drop weight? Can Hunsucker get to 205 and fight one of these guys? Because this is what the content that I'm here for. These kind of fights. I wish Dana White just had a league. He's just his fun league. It's you know what? Once your contract expires, you can fight in this league, but you're fighting for $1,000. And you don't get to do a camp. You just gotta go in the cage. We don't worry about weigh-ins. Tell us what you weigh, and you're in. So Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play the round 1 sub. I'm going to be honest. This fight gets to the second round. We don't deserve to win. Like, there's no bet you deserve to win on this. And as bad as Menafield is, it might have to be mentioned. I do think he won his last fight against William Knight.
Me too.
But greasy. I mean, it's greasy decision. But, all right. So I'm playing round 1 sub at plus 950. By the way, all of us, unless you're not topping that one, are you?
Nah.
It seems like all of a sudden I could not get one, and now I have like the last 5.
You're like 3 in a row, right?
5. But I also have us both for this one, because I know me and you had kind of talked about this one. Yeah, this isn't going to be a sprinkle. This is going to be like, I think the under 1.5, which is, I believe, what was it, minus 170, right? Something like that.
That's gold. Honestly.
It's been minus 190-ish. I honestly, like, as much as I don't like anchoring, like, there's times I like doing a lot of 2-team parlays, just anchoring everything to one, like, strongest play. As much as I'm not going to, I'm tempted. I am kind of tempted to throw everything in a 2-team bet with the under and just saying that'll define my day. I'm very tempted to do it. But anyway, I can't believe, like, I mean, like, look at these 2 fights back to back. Like, this is what it's come down to. Like, this is
honestly
insanity.
Do you think that Dana's really going to let the fight even happen at this point? Like,
I have a feeling. I honestly have a feeling that the second he weighs in, he's gonna be like, it can't go. Like, he's gonna get his.
Imagine.
No, I don't even know if he misses weight. But he has to weigh in to get his bonus, to get his show bonus. So I could see him just getting on the scale, being like, look at me, I'm like, seriously, it could be a 120-pound guy being like, well, I made weight. And then it'd be like, oh, my toe, oh, my stomach, my gout. So, like, we just don't know. Larson, that was for you. We just don't know, but really kind of hoping this fight stays on. But with our luck, it'll be like, the Ode, Adashev fight will get canceled. Like, but so fight number 11. This one is really interesting. This is somehow I will be very sad too, Paul Pierce. Very sad. I'm strangely looking forward to that fight. Moving on to Korean Sylvia against Pauliana Patello. I'll make this one short and sweet to start, and then I know you're going to beat me, and then maybe I'll beat you. Weezy and I were going over the prop template. I was looking at what he's doing with the probability stuff, and it's hard for me. I know that, like, Clint has the big thing he always talks about the Contender Series fade. Yeah, I mean, I see the logic behind it, but, like, the record's not like, this isn't like a 75% bet. The problem is when they're big favorites, and, like, I get that he's always getting a dog price here. So I kind of like fight doesn't go. I don't think I like Silva's cardio, and I think she seems round 1 or bust in a lot of ways. I could easily see the round 1 here, but if she doesn't and has nothing in if she empties the tank round 1, I could see Patello getting her out of there. So to me, I'm just going to start. Fight doesn't go is plus 110, 120, depending on your book. So I'll start there. I mean, I hope you're going to top this. I'm sure you will.
I will. Honestly, I'm being a bit of a Silva hater. I don't know if she deserves it. In terms of the Contender Series fade, I feel like it can be a good angle, but you really need to like you can't always just like blindly apply it, right? But it makes sense. I like a lot of debutantes. I feel like, especially this past year, I don't have numbers to support it, but I feel like they've been doing better than usual. We've been seeing a lot of new talent come in that's been great and winning their first UFC fight. But in terms of this actual fight, I just don't think much of Silva. She was getting washed, honestly, by that other woman in her Contender Series bout. I'm not even going to try to say her. I'm going to butcher her name, so I don't want to say it. I don't think Silva wins this fight, and because I do agree that her cardio is kind of garbage, I think I'm going to sprinkle Pauliana Patello in round 3 for plus 2,000 on FanDuel. I feel like I'm obligated.
Can't beat that. And it's funny. I know Wheezy's on your side with the round 3 prop, and I would be on the side that Brady just brought up, that Silva is going to start just from round 1, but Paul brought it up too. Like you could play this fight two ways. You could do the early, the round 1 and a round 3 prop, and then there you go, Brady. I don't know who's more of a bum, but yeah, that bum. Yeah, a round 3 Patello for you, man. I'm not gonna lie. And it's funny. You didn't pick a method. You're just going with the round 3 prop, right?
Yeah, I don't want to push her because once you get a fighter who's, if I think she's losing just because she's exhausted, anything can happen. So I rather just take the plus 2,000. I was looking at KO, it was plus 27, so I was like, whatever, I'll just take the 2,000.
All right. On to fight number 12, only 2 away from the main. Lucas Almeida against Michael Tresano. Tresano is kind of a decision machine. Not kind of. Tresano is a decision machine. Almeida seems to be another guy that looks pretty dangerous early. Is that tangerine? Is that the tangerine flavor, or that blood orange you're drinking?
Raspberry, the OG.
The OG. I know a buddy of mine that would be very proud of you. So this one's all you to start. Have fun with this.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm on Tresano, and I feel like we've been hearing a bunch of like hate on Tresano this week. And look, I do get the Almeida love. I think that Almeida in decision no action is probably the smartest bet you can make on this fight, in my opinion. And I kind of regret not just going that way. I ended up taking Tresano. Yeah, I think that's money, honestly, because I don't see him winning a decision. And I think it's entirely possible. I see this fight being pretty similar to kind of like the Medic fight that we just saw, or what was the other one? Brito and who did Brito spark that he wasn't supposed? Andre Feely. Yeah. So like I kind of see this like that, where it's like a vet that should win, and then a guy who can absolutely spark him in round 1. So if I was on the Almeida side, I think the decision no action is the way to go. But I took round 3 Tresano plus 1,200, my classic 0.1 unit to win 1.2 units. Almeida does slow down big time. We've seen it again and again. And Tresano, he keeps that pace. He does. He keeps up that pace. He'll keep going till the end. And I don't think it's the most likely outcome. There's a reason it's plus 1,200, but I don't hate it. I like to fade the bad cardio. That's the angle I like for the round 3. So that's my spot here.
Yeah, the only pick for me was going to be Tresano decision at even money. But yeah, we're going to go with your round 3 at plus 1,200. I got to be honest. I just, yeah, I mean, and as Rogue saying, I'm not a big Tresano fan either, but this is more for me. It's a fate of Almeida's cardio. I think that he does. And it's not even 5-minute cardio from what I've seen. It's like 3.5-minute cardio. Like, can Tresano eat it? Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think I'm with you. I liked it. Like, if you really don't like Almeida's cardio, it almost doesn't matter the opponent. If his car, I mean, if he's hanging his tongue out in the 3rd round, like it's, you're slim pickings. But anyway, let's move on to the co-main event. I don't know why I'm even going to bother giving a pick here, because I know what you're doing. But Dan Ige and Movsar Evloev. I mean, how about I just tell you Evloev minus 200 decision and just go? Because that's what I'm going to take. But go ahead. I know you were on Eric's show last night, so go ahead.
Yeah, so honestly, I was already kind of feeling the violence here. I feel like we're all looking at Evloev and being like, yeah, he's decisionator. But like, we're talking about 2 guys who are going to bring it right now. I feel like we're going to see a war. We've seen Evloev, in my opinion. I think he's been upping it more and more. He's been putting more pressure. He's been getting better and better. I've been looking to fade him up until now, and now I'm no longer looking to fade him. And yeah, so I was on Eric's show. I've already bet the under 2.5. I did this early. I got plus 275, and it's even better now if you like that. But then I was on Eric's show, and Eric brought up the Ige round 3. And then I forgot how round 3 KO came up. I think I checked or whatever, and plus 3,900. And I was just like, wow. Because, like, first of all, Evloev
by the way, I won't say what your actual wording was to me privately, because it was more graphic than that.
Oh, was it? I don't even remember. But
it involves something that rhymes with the word boner, I believe.
I think it was the word boner, wasn't it?
Well, boner rhymes with the word boner. So,
Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, look, plus 3,900. You're giving me a power puncher who's shown that he's got power. You're giving me Evloev, who's going to be wrestling. Look, I don't care who you are. If you're wrestling that much, you are going to slow down, and Evloev has slowed down. I don't expect it to happen, but plus 3,900, like, you've got to be kidding me. You just bet a tenth of a unit, and if you hit, you're walking away with almost 4 units. Got to do it.
so Rozenstruik's bringing up something I believe Monk and I were talking about earlier today, that like he's got to get a finish at some point, right? Evloev, like he doesn't want to be known as a decision machine, but I think Ige's, I don't know, it's the problem with betting this fight is unless you take a prop, this fight's unbet. If you take Ige, it's bettable. But unless you're taking an Evloev finish prop, this fight is, I mean, even minus 200 for a decision it's kind of unbettable. But anyway,
Honestly,
go ahead.
If you're going to be like, what's Evloev inside the distance? It's plus 340. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to do that, I think you're better off doing either under 2.5 for plus 325, or fight doesn't go for plus 230, because then at least you're covered if Ige does also get a finish. I agree. I think that a finish is more live here than the odds suggest, or that anybody's playing it off as. I think that we might see a finish. So I feel like if you're going to play the inside the distance, you might as well just cover both for plus 325. That's kind of crazy.
All right. Well, we made it to the main event. If you guys haven't already, I believe I haven't said this whole video. Smash that like button, subscribe to the MMA Engine, go subscribe to Couch Warrior Pods as well. Like, we're putting in all the work. These guys put in a lot more work than me. I just watch Bert for all my tips and tricks. Bert, if you're listening, one day, buddy, one day we're doing a show together. On to the main event. He's part of our succession plan. Alexander Volkov, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, at heavyweight. I don't need to say too much more about this. In the small cage, people tend to think this is going to favor Rozenstruik. He is low volume, but take us away with this one.
Yeah, I don't get the Rozenstruik love, honestly. Look, I keep hearing all kinds of stuff, but say what you want. Recency bias is a thing, especially in our little MMA betting community. And if Volkov didn't look, forget the Aspinall thing, right? Aspinall, I think, would have done that no matter what. Aspinall is something different. He's legit, and I'm very hype about him.
And that was a blitzing.
Yeah. If Volkov didn't look as bad as he did against Tybura, I don't think these odds would be here. I think it would be completely different, and I think Volkov would be a much heavier favorite. Realistically speaking, right? We don't even understand fully what kind of size difference we're going to be looking at here. Like, we're working off numbers, but we know that Rozenstruik is not 6'2". He's not 6'3". He's at best 6 feet tall, maybe on a good day with good shoes. But Volkov is a very real. What is he? 6'5", I think, off the top of my head, something like that.
I thought he was 6'7", but
yeah, me too. I just didn't want to like go too high because I'm going off the top of my head. But
he's 6'7".
Yeah, he's going to be way bigger than this guy. The reach isn't that crazy, which I was a little surprised about. But the size, like, you can't ignore that. And if he doesn't have the reach in his arms, like, he's definitely got the reach in his legs. And we've seen Volkov use his kicks, his front kicks, the deep kicks. As long as he doesn't get finished here, I do think that Volkov walks away with this. I really do think he wins the fight. And I have a money line. I'll open with that because it's minus 155. I think it's a good play. I've got just a bit over 3 units on this. So
I'm not going to top by much. I mean, I'm on the Volkov side as well. I know, like, one of the things I've been looking at is, that the small cage favors Rozenstruik, but the guy's he's so low volume that, like, and to go with what you said about Tybura fight, I think that's a very interesting thing. Like, I don't read much into I don't think you worry about the Aspinall fight. You look at it as an outlier. First of all, he's the road team. And secondly, it wasn't like he took a lot of he didn't really take any damage. Like, Aspinall just didn't even bother doing anything on the feet. He's like, nope, shoot, like, submit, done. So Volkov didn't take any damage in that fight. The Tybura fight's interesting because he really he was real low energy. And even not even in the third, even in the second round, he was, that was
in the first.
Well, I mean, Tybura just moves so slow that Volkov, by comparison, looked like Demetrius Johnson, which I'm sure is the only time Volkov's been in the same sentence with Demetrius Johnson. unless they were advertising like, Cricket Mobile or whatever commercials they do. But
Toyota tires.
I don't think Volkov gets a finish. I think it's honestly like going to be a weirdly not weird. I think it's going to be a fucking boring fight. I think it's going to be a very boring fight for the first 2 rounds, the first 3 rounds. Rozenstruik, even when his team tells him, like every time at open scoring and like that's going to change anything, Rozenstruik's not one of those guys that changes because he's so reliant on the fact that he thinks he can just land the bomb at any time that he never changes his volume. He never goes for it. So I don't know. I like Volkov here. I like the decision. I know people are playing the 4-5 decision prop, which I don't hate either. I mean,
I think that's a good one.
What is that? Even money?
I haven't seen it personally, but I was looking at the round.
By the way, this is a wonderful, wonderful screen name. So thank you for joining us, Local Man Shakes Fest. That is a fantastic screen name.
Good spot there.
It's my second favorite name I've ever seen on YouTube. Nothing will top Shock Tits. Like nothing was ever going to top that for me. But Local Man Shakes Fist is an excellent name. Good on you, sir. Sorry, I had to. So, what do you say it is? Even money?
I'm not sure. I was looking at. I haven't seen that one. I was looking at the round 4 and 5 KOs separately because we keep hearing all this about Rozenstruik being a finisher. But what about Volkov? Like, are we just forgetting that he's very good too? Like, are we forgetting that he finished 12th Harris? Are we forgetting that he finished Alistair Overeem? Like, are we forgetting that up until his Cyril Gane fight, he was looking like he was going to make a title run? Like, I just feel it's so silly to say, yeah, Rozenstruik can get a KO, but Volkov just can't here. Like, sure, maybe the smaller cage favors the power puncher, but maybe it favors the huge guy who's got power too, I think a KO for Volkov is possible here, and I am very tempted to sprinkle a late one, but I think a smart play is that 4-5 in decision if you have access to it.
Do you want to take Volkov KO just to give the people something plus money here? KO with decision. He's not getting a sub.
I'll back my words with my money. I'll make that play after the show. Let's do KO plus 300.
I might join that too. All right, let me recap the bets. We have reached the end of the program, so I will, starting from first to end. And by the way, I'm really shocked Erin Blanchfield's the opener. It's kind of weird. I think people really like watching her fight, so I'm kind of surprised she's opening the card. But Mike has Blanchfield round 3 at plus 1,200. He has Fakhramonov at, I probably said that wrong. I probably picked the total wrong name, didn't I?
I think you said it right.
Did I?
Oh, no, you didn't. Fakhramonov.
Sorry. Let me do it right at least. Renat Fakhramonov. You have him, or you just have him at sub plus 600. You have Jeff Molina, the internet sensation, Jeff Molina KO plus 460. Tony Gravely KO plus 290, backed up with the Munoz round 3 sub at plus 1600. And then we both have Stoltz at plus 135. Neither one of us had a very strong feeling about that one. I'm on Damon Jackson, round 2 submission at plus 600, just for Larson the crowd. Ooh, yeah. There he goes. He wanted the Macho Man. He got 2 seconds of the Macho Man. Joe Stalecki sub plus 300. I may just go the other way on this one. I kind of want to look at the Silva a little more. I just can't. Like, it's one of those bets I know I'm just putting in. Like, here's my money. Like, I just have no confidence. Stalecki. Adashev round 3 KO at plus 2,700 for New York on that one, I guess. The Felice Herrig, no bags to be yammed at 20-1. Menafield, we're both on the Menafield round 1 sub at plus 950 or 900. Don't go too far, Gordo, because I'm gonna have to promote. Well, Gordo talk to me. I'll maybe promote it. You're on Patello round 3 at plus 2,000. Tresano round 3 at plus 1,200. I'm seeing a pattern here. Ige round 3 KO at an astronomical price of 39-1, and the Volkov KO at 3-1. That wraps it up for us. Mike, tell the people where to find you, what you're doing, and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. So I'm Couch Warrior Pod on Twitter. That's where I post all my picks as soon as I make them. Sometimes I'll be posting at 3 a.m. because that's when I watch And so if you want my picks as they happen, that's where you want to look. On Tuesdays on my channel, Couch Warrior Podcast on YouTube, I break down the card that's coming up. And then on Wednesdays, I do a fantasy show. It used to be Prize Picks and DraftKings, but it's looking like I'm going to chuck DraftKings and then do Prize Picks, Underdog Fantasy, and Monkey Knife Fight, which I just got introduced to. In terms of DraftKings, honestly, I think the best show you can watch is the one with Wheezy, Monk, Brady, and the squad over there. So
Gordo.
And Gordo. It's been killing it too.
2021 Iron Man champion, Gordo.
So definitely check them out. That's the DraftKings show to watch, in my opinion. But yeah, so Wednesdays, and then my favorite show by far is this one on Fridays, normally at 8:30. So,
all right. So just so you guys know, in 1 hour on the network, Probability with Weezy and Brady, you can find me with my Friday other guy, Monk. I shouldn't call Monk my other guy. He's gonna be really upset. He already feels like I'm cheating on him. I'm with Monk 5:30 on this network Eastern Standard Time to do the he handles the DFS end, I handle the betting end. I go a little more conservative than the crazy bets. I may, depending on what Gordo tells me, I may be subbing in tomorrow on his show, which would be, I think, afternoon, but I'll leave that to him to promote. And then yeah, that's it. Just remember, guys, it's an early start time. It's 1 o'clock on Saturday is the event. I usually do John Kelly's panel. He's not doing it this week, which means I will be undefeated for 8 weeks on the John Kelly panel. Another week. And apparently Gordo is saying 3 p.m. So I will be on the Plays and Fades network tomorrow, 3 p.m. with Gordo, breaking down the DFS and betting angles. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And have a wonderful night. Take care. Bye.